Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking into a crime that really shakes that idea of safety in close communities. We're going into the story from Abu Al-Abbas in Minya, Egypt. It's a case where the everyday routine masked something truly terrifying, and trust between neighbors, well, it turned deadly. To really get the weight of this, you need to understand Abu Al-Abbas itself. It's a small farming village. Life there is, well, predictable, quiet, everyone's connected, and the rhythm is set by the seasons, by agriculture. Radia, her 3 young sons, and her husband Mubarak working away in Libya, they were kind of the definition of this stable life.
And that stability is key here. Radia, she was 35, ran the household like clockwork. Her boys, just 4, 7, and 9 years old, had this set routine. Out to the fields by 6 a.m. sharp, back home by 3 p.m. And maybe the biggest symbol of this routine, that weekly call from Mubarak every Thursday, 5 p.m.
But that clock just stopped. Sunday, December 20th, 2009. Neighbors usually saw Radia around 5 p.m., chatting after work, but she wasn't there. The first thought was pretty innocent, right? Oh, maybe she's feeling sick.
Yeah, exactly. In a village like that, you don't jump to the worst conclusion. Illness, maybe exhaustion. You assume something simple. But the worry, it really started to grow Monday morning, December 21st. The door's still locked. That's unusual. But the real red flag, it wasn't the door. It was the yard.
The yard? How so?
Radia was known for being incredibly tidy. The area outside her house, always spotless. When the neighbors saw it hadn't been touched, looked neglected for almost 2 days. Well, they knew something was seriously, fundamentally wrong.
They tried knocking, calling her name. Just silence. So Mubarak's brother, he felt he had to do something drastic. He knew the house. He knew the only way in, other than that locked main door, was over the roof.
It's a chilling image, isn't it? Him climbing up, dropping down through that inner stairwell access, and that's where he found her. Radia, right near the bottom of those stairs. The report said she was drowned in a pool of blood. Her appearance just terrifying.
Wow, so he saw that
and that was enough. He didn't look around, didn't check for the kids. He just immediately backed out, panicked, screaming, raised the alarm. And that's when law enforcement arrived at what was clearly a horrific scene.
Okay, let's break down that crime scene. Because right away, things didn't quite add up, did they? The police confirmed how the killer got in the roof, just like the brother.
Which suggests a few things. Someone who could climb, probably someone familiar with the house layout. And Radia being right there at the stairs, it means the attack was instant. The moment she realized someone was inside, he attacked.
And the attack itself was brutal.
Incredibly brutal. Stabbed multiple times and then slaughtered. Just savage.
And then the children. This is just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Investigators found the 3 boys, Hosni, Ali, and little Taha. They were together in one room, covered up.
2 of them, the older ones, had suffered the same fate as their mother. Stabbed, slaughtered. But the youngest, Taha, only 4 years old, he'd been strangled.
Strangled. So a different method for him.
Slightly different, yes. Strangulation versus the knife. But investigators felt it was consistent. All the violence pointed to one killer, acting with extreme malice. Maybe even a chilling kind of efficiency to silence everyone.
But here's the weird part, the contradiction that immediately puzzled everyone. The house looked like a robbery scene, right? Messy, things thrown around.
Exactly. It screamed robbery. But then they started looking closer, and absolutely nothing of value was gone.
Nothing. How is that possible after such violence?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Radia's savings, which she managed carefully through the post office, untouched. The family had livestock, a cow in the barn next door, also safe. A typical thief, especially in a rural area, they'd take the cow, anything easy to convert to cash.
So the brutality, the ransacking, but no theft.
It completely changed the direction of the investigation. This wasn't random. It wasn't about grabbing valuables. It had to be something personal, something targeted. Revenge, maybe? Extreme envy. Or just pure, desperate greed focused on something specific.
And just imagine Mubarak. He gets that routine call on Thursday. Everything's normal. Then 3 days later, he rushes back from Libya to this nightmare, only to have to tell the police, no, nothing is missing. His family wasn't killed for stuff. They were killed for the sake of killing them.
That question, why? Why target this mother and her little boys with such ferocity for apparently no material gain? That's what pushed investigators away from just looking at the physical evidence and towards, well, the people closest to her, the social circle.
And they did find some crucial physical evidence, didn't they? Stuff that started to narrow things down.
Yes, absolutely. Forensics provided 2 critical pieces. First, the time of death. They pinned it down to late Saturday night, sometime between 11 p.m. and midnight.
Okay, so Saturday night. That means the family was already deceased inside that locked house all day Sunday and Monday morning when the alarm was finally raised.
Exactly. And second, the struggle.
Yeah.
Radia fought back hard. They found skin tissue under her fingernails.
Wow, so she definitely confronted her attacker and drew blood, or tissue at least.
She did. Which suggests it wasn't a complete surprise attack from behind. She faced him. And likely recognized him, prompting that violent, immediate reaction from the killer. And maybe the most vital forensic discovery. They found proof the killer was physically there and left traces. A blood sample that didn't belong to the family. And a clear, distinct fingerprint that wasn't from any family member either.
So they had the killer's blood type and fingerprint. They just needed a name to match.
Precisely. They had the what and the when, now they needed the who.
And with no obvious enemies, no financial disputes known outside the family. The focus had to turn inward, right? Towards the village itself, the neighbors, the people Radia talked to every day.
Especially the women she socialized with, the ones she might have confided in. Because remember, the motive seemed personal, not random. And this is where a seemingly innocent piece of neighborhood chat becomes absolutely central. Investigators spoke to Haja Zara, an older woman living just 2 houses down from Radia, and she revealed something incredibly important, something intimate about Radia's finances.
What was that?
She told them Radia wasn't just managing day-to-day stuff, she was savvy. And, crucially, she had savings. Significant savings. About 18,000 Egyptian pounds, managed independently.
18,000 pounds. We should probably pause on that. In 2009, in a small Egyptian farming village.
Yeah.
That's a fortune, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge sum. Easily 2, maybe 3 years income for an average family there back then. It wasn't just spare cash. It was, like you said, a small fortune. Life-changing money for someone in that context.
So suddenly, there's a potential motive again. Greed. But not random greed. Specific greed based on knowing about that specific amount of money.
Exactly. And that knowledge pointed the investigation directly at Haja Zara's own family living right there, 2 doors away.
Which brings us to her son, Mohamed. He immediately became a person of interest. What was his situation?
Mohamed's life was basically screaming desperation. He was married, his wife was pregnant, which adds pressure, you know. But he was drowning in debt. He owed 41,000 EGP.
41,000. That's more than double what Radia supposedly had saved.
Way more. And it wasn't just debt, it was urgent. He had outstanding checks, and creditors were closing in.
How urgent?
Very. Just 4 days before the murders, one of his main creditors confronted him, gave him an ultimatum, threatened legal action immediately. Mohamed apparently panicked and promised he'd have the money within 3 days.
3 days, which puts the deadline right around Saturday night, the night of the murders.
Precisely. The timing was disturbingly perfect.
So they bring Mohamed in for questioning. How did he react?
Cool as a cucumber initially. Played the part of the shocked, grieving neighbor, said he loved the family, couldn't believe what happened, and he gave a very frame alibi, claimed he was asleep in his own bed all Saturday night.
A solid alibi, if true,
But his wife told a very different story when interviewed separately. She confirmed, yes, Mohamed did go out late Saturday night, and he came back late. And the galabia he was wearing, that's a traditional long robe men wear, it had bloodstains on it.
Bloodstains. What was his explanation for that?
He tried to wave it away. Told his wife he'd been helping a friend who got hurt in some kind of car accident. A flimsy story, it seems.
Flimsy indeed, especially when the police have forensic evidence.
Exactly. The final nail in the coffin. They confronted Mohamed with the facts. His fingerprint matched the one found at the scene. His blood type matched the non-family blood sample recovered from Radia's home.
And faced with that direct physical link.
He broke, completely collapsed, and confessed to everything.
So laid out for us, what was the story he told?
It was driven by that toxic mix of gossip and desperation. He admitted he'd overheard his own mother, Haja Zara, talking about Radia's 18,000 pounds, talking about her managing money well, Mubarak working abroad, the livestock, painting a picture of, relative wealth.
So the gossip fueled the idea.
It planted the seed. He got fixated on that money as the solution to his debt crisis. He decided Saturday night was the time, grabbed a knife, used his knowledge of the village layout to get onto the roof around 11 p.m. He probably expected everyone to be asleep.
But Radia wasn't asleep.
No. Tragically, she was still awake. As he came down the stairs, she saw him, confronted him, and in that moment, she must have recognized him, her neighbor's son.
And that recognition sealed her fate.
It seems so. His plan probably shifted instantly from stealth robbery to violent silencing. He attacked her right there, stabbing her, slaughtering her. Brutally.
But the noise, it woke the children.
Yes. The commotion woke the three boys, and here's the absolute core of the tragedy. They woke up, they saw him, and crucially, they knew him. They recognized Mohamed.
Oh, no. So he realized.
He realized he couldn't leave witnesses, especially witnesses who could identify him without a shadow of a doubt. So he made the horrific decision to eliminate them all. He killed them one by one. The two older boys with the knife, just like their mother, and the youngest, little Taha, he strangled him.
It's devastating, and after all that.
After the unimaginable violence, he frantically searched the house for the 18,000 pounds, the money that had driven him to do this, but he found nothing. Radia, being careful, must have kept it somewhere else, somewhere secure, or maybe the post office, like suspected.
So the entire horrific act was for nothing financial.
Literally for nothing. He found no money. He climbed back out via the roof, went back to his own house just 2 doors down, changed, presumably hid the Galabia, and then for the next 15 days he lived among the grieving villagers, pretending to share their shock and sorrow.
15 days.
Yeah.
Living that lie. The level of coldness is staggering. When the truth came out that it was Mohamed, the neighbor, the son of the woman Radia confided in, the shock in Abu Al-Abbas must have been immense.
It shattered the community. Absolute disbelief. But the legal process moved forward. The trial took about a year. Mohamed actually tried to retract his confession later on.
Did that work?
No. The forensic evidence, the fingerprint, the blood was concrete. And his wife's testimony about him being out late, returning with bloodstains, it was too compelling. He was found guilty, sentenced to death.
It's the brutality that really stands out, isn't it? Even beyond the initial confrontation with Radia.
Yes. The level of malice is profound. It wasn't just panic. Slaughtering her like that and then systematically killing the children who posed no physical threat but knew him. It suggests something deeper than just greed, intense envy maybe, hatred for the stability and small prosperity her family represented, which he so desperately lacked.
So when we step back, what's the takeaway here for you listening? This case is such a stark reminder, isn't it? How easily vulnerability can hide beneath the surface, even in places that feel safe. That tiny detail, Hajjazar mentioning the savings, probably just casual talk, became lethal when someone nearby was desperate and filled with, well, envy.
It highlights the danger of that combination. Desperation, proximity, and specific knowledge. And maybe the final thought to leave you with is about the sheer awful calculus of his actions. He was facing a 41,000 EGP debt. He killed 4 people trying and failing to get 18,000 EGP. In the end, what did he achieve? He didn't solve his debt. He destroyed a family. He destroyed his own family's future, his unborn child's future. He traded everything for a few minutes of horrific violence that gained him absolutely nothing but his own death sentence, a truly devastating cost.